So I yelp a lot. Especially when I try to stand up or sit down, that midway point. Yeah, even the dog wonders what the hell's wrong with me.
Poor Pooh.
Wow, does that really say it's going to take 27 minutes for that to download?
Yes, it does. Well, we've got a lot going on with Skype right now, Deb. We've got a phone call, and we've got...
Well, okay, yeah.
You know.
Okay, wow.
So I guess we just keep on chatting.
All right.
Oh. Yeah, this stuff with the music industry, Jack and I, we have talked about this so much. It's fascinating.
Oh, yeah.
How many things they've got going that are in place to protect the artists, to protect the musicians, to protect the copyrights. And it doesn't really seem to be protecting anybody except making money for the people who claim to be doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, speaking of both sides of the gun, I was kind of shocked to hear that Ben Harper had the same title for actually an album that he made after I came out with that. I thought it was kind of a different turn of a phrase, both sides of the gun, so I was kind of shocked that somebody else came up with it and sort of had, I don't know, he had a minor hit with it.
Which one was this?
It's the one we were just talking about, both sides of the gun.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but if you go on BMI or ASCAP and do a search, there can be hundreds of songs with the same name.
Oh, yeah.
I know. Well,
so why
I
was
believe
that
they're just... What? I'm just saying, it's interesting that the copyright laws don't really... I don't know. I don't know how much they really protect anything.
I don't think they do a whole lot, no.
Well, it depends on who you are, too.
Sure, and there's always a loophole. If you got the dough.
Yeah, because from what I've seen, a copyright really doesn't... Well, it didn't help me with photography, but music is, I think, held differently than photography or anything else. It really does seem to have its own set of rules compared to other art forms.
You know, the thing that's always caught me off guard is the the interpretations of our copyright laws are interpreted differently in regards to music as opposed to anything else.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, I think the most shocking thing is the penalty part of it, because the performance rights societies, if you get caught playing a song without a license, they can hit you with a penalty of up to $150,000 per song. And if you read the Constitution, there's something in there about cruel and unusual punishment, and unreasonable fines and penalties.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of unreasonable for a 99-cent download. Well, who was the girl, Jack? The 1.6 million she had to pay?
Wasn't that that wasn't the Jamie Thomas case. That was a downloading case. It was somebody else. Oh God, I can't think of the name. And I'll think of it in an hour, long after we finish talking about this.
Yeah, there's been people that have been taken to court for illegal downloads, 99-cent downloads.
And it's funny how they generally always settle out of court. It's the intimidation tactics, and it's typical of also how they try to lock in the musicians with these recording contracts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right.
It's just really... So, Fonda, tell us what happened. You had a record deal, and it got shelved.
Yeah, well, there were a number of little snafus with that, but mainly I had signed to Polygram through a producer that had come to see my act, and I didn't, there were a couple of old men basically, and
right.
they had their ideas of what they wanted to do. And unfortunately for them, I had ideas of my own. And they pretty much just wanted to steamroll over those. And basically what they wanted to do was go to a great place and hang out and pick up some young women and drink a lot of Remy. And, it seemed really fun to me too at first.
Right.
We did the basic tracks for my record at Caribou Ranch in Colorado, and so I was flown out there for 2 weeks, and that was all great. And then they would not let my manager come, which was funny.
That is odd.
Wow.
Yeah, so pretty much I was just thrown to the wolves, but I held my own for a long time. After those 2 weeks of recording, and went back to New York and went to do the vocals, which we had done reference vocals in Colorado, and they really liked the sound of my voice on the reference vocals. And it's very interesting. We got back to New York, and they started to go crazy. You don't sound the same. And I said, really? Well, I'm not doing anything differently. And anyway, they pretty much just killed me for about a week about how I couldn't sing anymore, what happened to me, And it turned out that they were using a certain microphone at the studio in Colorado, and that's the sound that they wanted. And so after they beat me to a bloody pulp, they sent away for the microphone that they had used in Colorado and got that shipped over, and everything was fine. And one of my favorite lines from these guys was, it took you a lot longer to cry than a couple of other people they had produced that were famous. And so it took you longer to break down.
They were trying to break you?
This isn't really what I had in mind, I mean, music is supposed to be fun and
it's like that was their mission, to see how long you'd last.
Well, that's what they joked and said. Anyway,
Wow.
so I had no desire to do another record with those guys, if you can understand that.
Gee, I wonder why.
And so that was pretty much the end of my career, because I stood up for myself, and I said, look, I've got a lot more music in me, and it could be good, but I'd just rather, work with people that are more interested in the music.
Yeah.
Than having a big old time in your, senior years. There was a lot of litigation, and pretty much the label just gave up and dropped me because I couldn't hang in the courtroom. So.
Wow. Well.
Yeah. So.
That, but
yeah.
I wonder how typical that is, that they would do that to somebody and they would crack like an egg. It sounds like they were well versed in how to do that.
I was in my 20s, and all alone.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they wouldn't let my manager be there. So I'm sure they thought they could do whatever they wanted to do. They wanted to put on my first album. There were 10 songs, and I managed to have